Hello, Ben here from Supercoach Insider, giving you my team into round 16. It's taken me about 20 minutes to kind of realize what the hell I'm going to do with my team. I'm sure some of you are feeling the exact same way after the team announcements. So I was looking at Hobbs, which was my nice and safe, steady cover on the bench. Now there's a bit of anarchy there. Clark from Richmond's also dropped. So the two people that I was having as cover are now gone and disappeared. So it's going to be a little bit interesting there. So let's have a look at my team. Last week I scored 2,439. Was an interesting week, so you would have known the journey. I was keen to get Bontempelli. Super keen to get Bontempelli. I was even toying up with the fact of getting rid of Brody or Cornelio just to make it happen. Now, the issue is when you start to get down to sort of, 4 trades or the rest of it, it starts to get a little bit hairy. But before we move on, speaking of hair, shout out to Manscaped, our sponsor as well. So manscaped.com, go check them out. Also splashvodka.com.au. My favorite is the orange and passion fruit. But the other one is also decent as well. The watermelon and pomegranate as well. Also very decent. Splashvodka.com.au. Check them out and support those that support us. Please do like, follow, subscribe. SC Insider 100, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Also, all the audio platforms as well. Our podcast was yesterday, Swizz and myself. SC Insider 100 on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and the audio platforms, Spotify, Soundcloud, Stitcher, you name it. Subscribe. Supercoach Insider on YouTube. All right, so 2,439. Now, I made a little bit of a Hail Mary last week, and the reason is that I had Clark go, let me undo these. I had Clark go really badly. He scored a 26, and I was trying to make a move, trying to move up in the ranks. I was like, okay, well, if Bontempelli goes 100, so I had Butters at the time. So I'm like, well, I was going to go 1 down, 1 up, but then the news of, Stewart possibly getting suspended, I was like, well, I can't really do the 1 down, 1 up anymore. But I was like, well, if I make a move now, then I might be able to kind of try and move on a Brody. If Brody stunk it up, I was definitely moving him this week. But he's done so well again, and it's so annoying. And I really wanted to kind of bet against him. I really wanted to short the stock and hope that he would go really poorly because I think 90% of the top 1,000 or 5,000 have him. So I was kind of keen to bet against him with Bontempelli. But again, the issue is it's really a fine line at the moment. When you get down to about 4 trades, yes, you can risk it for the biscuit, but you're talking about, even if Bontempelli averages 15 points more or 10 points more, let's say Brody, 10 points more, that's only 80 points for the rest of the season. Whereas if you have a donut for 2 rounds, then you're costing yourself at least 200. So you're really going to negate the positives there. So it gets a little bit more complicated, a little bit more tricky. So you're best to just kind of hold your premiums, ride them out when you're going for overall, and see how you go from there. So a little bit of shade in here. All right. So pretty much what I'm thinking about for this week, it's really interesting. I had no idea what I was going to do. So Hobbs is gone. There goes my cover. I've now got English here. I was talking to Chris just a second ago, whereas if I could go downgrade Hobbs, I might be able to go Ware up to to Stephen May and then use him as cover. But the issue is I don't have a defender mid, and the only way I could do it is if I had a defender mid and a rookie playing in my forward line, which I just don't have this week. So it is a little bit crappy that it's sort of worked out this way. So what I'm going to kind of have to do, and I don't say have to, my options are Stewart. I could go Stewart and get rid of him. I could go Dawson. I could get rid of English and bring in Bontempelli. Premium for premium, 2 trades done. But then anytime I have like another 1-week injury or 2-week injury like English, I'm going to have to trade them. I'm not going to have any cover. I can't trust Hobbs anymore because he got dropped. Clark also got dropped. Ware is obviously only as good as he's performing. Stewart for 4 weeks, I can't really hold him for that 4-week break. So either way, I'm going to be left with sort of 2 trades. Now, there's a couple of ways you can sort of go about this. I've come up with a couple of scenarios, and I sort of sent it out to my little group chat just before, and pretty much having a look at these kind of scenarios. So I could go like Dawson, and I could have Stringer as my F7, M9. He's gone like 98 and 100 last couple of weeks, so maybe they have a couple of easy games coming up. So when you have a look at sort of their run. They play, so Sydney, Brisbane a little bit harder. Gold Coast, Collingwood, North. So it could open up a little bit for Stringer to sort of do well. The issue is having a Stringer as a loophole player. He is also injury prone as well, but that would allow me to get Dawson. The other thing that I am considering was going Dale, and this is probably the one that probably is a little bit more likely for me. Now that Caleb Daniel's out, I think it's about 80 to 40. He had about 2/3 of the kickouts already, but he's going to have full lion's share with that. Riches is also knocked out or injured. So it's going to be the Bailey Dale show for the next month where he's getting all the kickouts, probably bumps his scoring by a few points a game, probably goes 110 for the next month. I really like him as an option. And then it kind of ties me into going for I can only really afford like a Bolton or a Zach Bailey. Both, best 22 players. Yeah, they're not going to miss. Bailey's obviously just had a little bit of a fresh injury. So I'd probably be looking at Bolton based on Richmond's draw coming up. So when we have a look at their draw, they're playing West Coast this week, Gold Coast and North. So if there's ever a time to get on a player that's 400,000 in Bolton, I think now's the time. He probably gets a couple of hundreds over the next few weeks, helps me out, provides that loophole. Whereas if I have an injured player, he's going to chip around the 80s or to 100 on any given week. If he goes really well one week, I can take his score instead of a Heaney, and it just provides that little bit of flexibility going forward. And I mean flexibility because if Darcy misses a week, English is in and Bolton's on field, so I can pretty much cover all lines except for my defence, and I save my last two trades to really cover some long-term injuries if Ware's not there. That's the kind of thinking of that. So that's the other scenario that I've been tossing up. And the other one, there's two more that are a little bit more risk-a-daisy. Aaron Hall and mixing it up with a Taranto, DeGoey, Dusty Martin, or a Duncan type. Now, I'd probably be looking at Hall and Taranto just based on upside. Taranto's first game back, he played still quite a bit of midfield, got out into the wing a little bit. I think he'll be a little bit better for the run. Didn't get many meters gained, but got quite enough of the pill. I think he will improve. The thing I don't like is, number one, it's a GWS player. Number two, they have a pretty tough run home, so I'm not really excited about that. And that's pretty much a hit and hope. The reason I like it is because he has the potential to go towards that 90 to 100 like Taranto can. We don't have enough data, so it is really a hit and hope. The other thing I like is that he's not highly owned, so if he does start to bang off, I'm one of the only ones with him, and then all of a sudden he can then start to get on field instead of someone else and try and challenge for the way home. So I'm not psyched. I kind of put Bontempelli in the back burner expecting to get him, and then I had a few more things pop up, and that's the issue that I'm in. And that's pretty much the issue that I have right now. And then the other one is a little bit more risky. It's the like Pendlebury or Zorko, who are both about 430, and then bring in like a Tex, a Cameron, or a Goldstein. Now, I actually think the coach was talking about Zorko running more freely. Didn't have that issue with his gait and all of the Achilles soreness that he had earlier in the year. The issue is that he is old and he just did do a hamstring, so I am concerned about that. They probably would put him on ice coming into finals if there's any little niggle, so it's extremely risky based on his price point. Like Stephen May's also a really good shout out from there. I had a look. If I could have gone May to Bontempelli, like for 2, I would have been 100% in that. And I blame Hobbs for not making any money last week. I was 13,000 short. I blame Hobbs for that. Pretty much. I honestly do. And Bontempelli going really well. So if Bontempelli didn't go well last week, if Hobbs had done better, then I could have gone May and Bontempelli in and then just had Heaney as a swing player, which I definitely would have been considering. And that's pretty much where we're at. So I'm not 100% sold on what I would like to do. As far as captain and VC and C this week, I definitely want Clarias around that sort of captain mark. I wouldn't mind VCing him, but the issue is that I think if people fail on their VC, they're going to be putting their C on Clary anyway. A lot of the popular opinion is McRae. It's his milestone game. He's averaged 134.5 against the Lions previously for his career, so he's a really good VC option. By the time you see this video, it's probably already live, so don't stress if you made the wrong decision. And Lockie Neal's averaging decently at the Gabba. I'm thinking about passing on both of these two. Thinking about going Mills for the VC, went 167, I think it was, against them earlier. Neil went 198 against them earlier in the year as well. So I think they could absolutely be towed up in that midfield. He's someone that works hard both ways, and Essendon, they just don't. They don't work hard both ways at all. So I'm definitely kind of keen to sort of ride that train a little bit, knowing that you're going to know if you're going to take Mills' score. He either goes big or he doesn't. I'm not going to get tempted into a 129 or a 131 that you feel like you just have to take. It could backfire or it could work out spectacularly for me this week. And that's pretty much where we're at. So now this decision that I have to make, and I have to make it pretty quickly in the next sort of 25 minutes. I'm probably tossing up. I'm leaning towards Hall and Taranto for upside because I am still chasing the overall. It is very risky. Hall could get injured and just burn me a trade straight off the bat. If I could afford, and I think I'm only $800 short, which is painful again. If I could afford to go Dale and Taranto, I think I would. Dale and Bolton's probably the other one that I'm looking at. Just with the easy run home, I probably trust Dale's consistency in his body, so he might not cost me a trade later. He's got the lion's share coming out now. They have some tough opponents. Brisbane also kick a lot of behinds when you have, Sprainer and Danaher, Hipwood, etc., kicking a lot of behinds. I think Dale is definitely a good shout, and I think you could do a lot worse than him. So I'm probably, and I hate Bolton. He hurt me last year when he was expected to fire and he didn't fire. But these are a few games where he could lift. Coming in towards finals, he's the sort of person that can really try and lift and challenge. They don't have as many people in the midfield at the moment, so he might even get a little bit more of a shake through there. So it's going to be interesting. It's pretty much like Hall, Taranto, or Dale and Bolton. Now, Hall and Taranto have both been injured this year at least once, whereas Dale and Bolton have not. So for that reason, I'm probably going to go Dale and Bolton, just for the fact that Bolton's going to go hopefully well for the next few weeks, particularly this week, and make up for the fact that English is away. What I just do, typed in Bolton, Jesus. Bolton is not a defender. So Bailey, Dale, and Hobbs. So that way Bolton can be my swing guy. Pretty much it's a full circle on last year. Bolton just being an absolute pain in the ass. But hey, at least this time I'm choosing at a late stage to bring him in. Just for reference point, let's have a look who I can afford. So if I go filter by players I can afford and by averages, it's pretty slim pickings. Like I said, so Zach Bailey, Shai Bolton, Luke Jackson, who, Gordon's meant to be back next week, so I'm not really keen on that. Kitty Coleman's been averaging decent enough, but again, Bolton probably has a little bit more upside to try and hit that 100 mark. I can't believe Isaac Smith is that cheap, to be honest, and there's really nothing there. It is literally, and I'll show you how close I could have got to Treloar. Let me just go from here. Sort by price to Taranto. It was literally so close. 436 and 436, 800. So he is literally 800 short, which if I had the choice, I probably would have done that. I don't mind those options there. It's pretty much, I quite like, some of those cheaper players that have upside, your Tarantos, etc. Stephen May's your best basement price if you're trying to finish your team for that. Taranto, I think, is really good basement price in your forward line. I quite like Mitch Duncan as well. I think Mitch Duncan will probably be going into the defence to really help solidify them with Stewart out. He won't be playing accountable, but he'll be probably the extractor. Stewart's a really good user by foot, so I expect them to get it in Duncan's hands. So I expect that to probably be a shift. Tui might get a little bit more of the kickouts, so expect him to go up a little bit. Otherwise I think Bolton's probably a pretty good shake for the run home. I don't trust Hawkins. If you can get on Jeremy Cameron, I probably would up against West Coast. That's probably about it. Stringer's a small shake. Again, injury prone, and I'm not sure I'd trust him, especially once the season's done, which it kind of is. He could really tailor off and think about all the things he could be doing, like being a flog. So, look, that's it from me. You've got my intake now, and I better lock these trades in before I forget. And I will... Actually, I don't even need to do it. I'll just clear that. That's it from me. I'll talk to you later. I'll get this up online, and let me know what you're thinking. Let me know how badly you're in trouble this week. Let me know who your season VCs are, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.